Hey YouTube, it's been a minute and I have the worst pimple. This is the worst time to make a comeback. But anyway, oh yeah, and also my bangs are shit. Anyway, okay, so I know I was never known for any kind of, it's not like anyone was waiting for me to upload, but I am here to basically give some information because I was curious. I had, you know, last January, I had the goal of really going to as many meetups as I could. I moved to DC, and I moved to Arlington, Virginia, and it's basically the same thing as DC. I'm playing. Please don't get mad at me in the comments. But yeah, moved to DC and area, and decided to really put myself out there and try to go to as many meetups as I can. Apparently, I forgot I was hard of hearing, because normally, thankfully, I am pretty, good in most settings I've needed to be in, like classrooms and any work situation. I've been able to hear fine enough, but if basically I can't hear it all in my right ear, but I have 70% of my hearing in my left ear, out of 100% left ear, it's 70%. And I got a hearing aid that addresses moderate hearing loss. So I have that. Basically, I asked Reddit, before I asked Reddit, I this year got 6 months worth of Time Left dinners. If you don't know, Time Left is an app that you can download, and it's not super widespread. It's only for major cities, but it is they do have outside of the U.S. locations. I think in Spain, Europe, Europe as a whole. So you can check that out. And I tried it, but what I realized is because of my hard of hearing situation, I really just can't hear in those kind of environments. I have really good friends who have been very patient. I luckily met them. I really lucked out and met them. One of the first meetups I went to, actually. And so we hang out regularly, and they're patient with me. But in situations like the Time Left, where everyone's a stranger at the table, it's really easy for because I have ADHD and autism on top of everything. So loud places to a degree are already overwhelming, because of the autism, and the ADHD. I have to put a lot of focus in, directing my attention and energy to hear people in these situations. And basically, yeah, it gets really tough. I just end up spacing out between the ADHD and autism, getting overwhelmed and just zoning out, basically. Some mix of both. So yeah, I've been working on this with my therapist, who's a really great therapist. By the way, speaking of ADHD, I want to randomly say that this thing can, change light colors, but the USB cord broke, and I need to plug it in, find a new one, hopefully, and plug it in, and it should be good, hopefully. It's still a comfy chair. But anyway, okay, so I asked Reddit, the Washington, D.C. and the Northern Virginia subreddits, 4 places that someone like me could go to, meet people at, make friends, being hard of hearing. And so this is what I got. These are the answers I got. Maybe I should put it on the screen, use OBS in the future. Let me know if I should do that in the chat, but in the comments. But yeah, but I'm just starting by literally putting on the camera and pressing record to like get myself to start posting again. So just minimal effort for now, just to get off the ground. Okay, one person asked me if I knew ASL because there's a huge deaf hard of hearing community in DC. Obviously, Gallaudet is here. I probably said that wrong. I actually looked it up. Gallaudet is this university. I don't know how many of these there are. I don't know how many universities that specifically cater to hard of hearing people there are. So that was pretty cool. With like the deaf and like hard of hearing like community specifically, really with my hearing loss, ADHD, and autism, and probably, even like my hydrocephalus and like Chiari type 2 malformation, like I have a bunch of like conditions. I'm just really lucky that, it's obvious I have these conditions, but like luckily, none of them have, been that severe compared to other people I've seen. And I say that because a lot of other people, like the reason this is relevant and kind of a curse in this case is but I wouldn't, wish it any other way, but the reason it's a curse is because, in these kind of communities, like deaf and hard of hearing, autism communities, like they're often mostly people who, for what I can tell, just have, they just have it worse, like condition-wise, and so it's actually hard to relate, especially because, like, in the case of like hard of hearing, a deaf community, because I don't know sign language basically. So if a lot of people there are using sign language, I'd be out of luck because I don't know it. I just was always like intimidated. Like I almost felt like I would be jinxing myself. Like if I learn sign language, I'll just eventually become deaf and it'll actually become relevant, which is really stupid, But yeah, like this pimple is really bugging me, and just mentioning it makes it worse. But anyway, makes it more noticeable. But anyway, another person said apparently there is a Starbucks in H Street, like Northeast H Street in Washington D.C. that is ASL only apparently when ordering. So a lot of people there use ASL. I'm not sure if they're really strict, like you can only use ASL when ordering, but yeah, like DC has a huge. What I'm learning is DC has a huge hard of hearing community. Actually, a university dedicated to that, which is really cool for the people who can like really be helped by that. Like I said, in university, my hearing loss was like the least of my problems, very fortunately. So, they had microphones and, like computers, that makes me seem like I'm from the 50s. They had computers. No. Yeah, they just, I just never needed much help for the hearing thing, but for the people it can help, it's great. And that's Starbucks. Like, if you want to try the goodness of Starbucks and, you're not ordering it online, sign language and RMDC and feel like, that's like this Starbucks is ideal, or somebody who's like trying to learn sign language or knows sign language and wants to go to Starbucks, there you go, Northeast H Street. Find a Starbucks there. Okay, so another person suggested Red Bear, which I'm guessing is like a bar, because they said in the afternoon / early evenings before they get rowdy. I'm not sure, how people like approach people at bars, because it's like, in America at least, like as much, it's funny because like Americans will say, hey, just like have the courage to approach someone and try to start a conversation. But it's like, whenever I've like tried to just kind of like join other people's conversations, like I'm talking, at like mingle events, where, the point is to like meet new people. Usually when I try that, it just becomes awkward, like sometimes people will be welcoming, sometimes it'll be like, who are you? I don't know, like, but just like people around here, for the advice people give about like, oh, don't be afraid to approach people. People are pretty adverse to being approached. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, even in non-mingle things, like, don't, especially in the non-like mingle events, don't expect to be able to approach people. And yeah, it's not gonna work in most cases. Like, maybe it's just because I look like shit. I don't know. Maybe your mileage will vary. Okay, and they gave another, I'm guessing bar, which is Streetcar 82 Brewing in Hyattsville. Is deaf-owned and gets a huge deaf and hard of hearing crowd. That I might check out. Again, like, I would look into both of these if I were you, and looking for a place for deaf or hard of hearing people to hang out. Because maybe this, especially the Streetcar 82 Brewing Bar, maybe it is more of an environment that's accommodating to hard of hearing people. They say they also occasionally run small group ASL lessons if you have any interest in learning it. It's just like Spanish, man. I probably should be learning these things, but it's like I don't have enough motivation to truly commit to that road, and like, that ADHD thing where, I get off the horse and just put off ever getting back on it again. I want to stop doing that, but, and, posting on this YouTube channel is like the first step to that, So yeah, and I'll have a cat soon, hopefully. Like, I'll be fostering cats, so you'll see a rotation of cats. So look forward to that. Anyway, this video is already coming up, but that's what we want. Another person said they're 27 male, hard of hearing as well, moved here recently and was told that groups for running, hiking, volunteering were good ideas. I'm sorry, the last year I've been trying different meetups. I'm sure I tried some version of each of these meetups except like volunteering, I guess. Volunteering was, funny enough, kind of the place that I could actually like talk to people the most, because like people were, from what I remember, like the last time I volunteered, was in like high school, honestly. Like, I don't know, just, the last time I straight up volunteered like that was in like high school. And like, honestly, I mean, sometimes people are just focused on the work and getting like the volunteer hours. Sometimes people really did, were willing to, or at least somewhat willing to talk, while doing work, like, while packing boxes at the food bank or whatever. So, but I think the point that this person is trying to say is like, a lot of well-meaning people will give advice for where you can go, but like a lot of it, for hard of hearing people, like when you're running, I mean, like if you are talking to people or you're hiking, you're talking to people, unless you're keeping pace with them like perfectly throughout, like you're going to lose them or like struggle to hear them because like you're gonna have distance between you, and maybe even the wind or other people talking around you can make things surprisingly difficult. So again, it's unfortunately for us, those normal, options to meet new people are unfortunately more complicated and troublesome. Okay, they said They also say, but I'm sure there are better options out there. The city is packed with so many different groups and events. So I really hope you and anybody else who's a fellow hard of hearing person finds different places. I think I've given up on the time left app, really working out, because all the places they, route you to are loud. So again, like for people who aren't hard of hearing, it really seems like, people can really get into good conversations and make friends. But that doesn't, it's helped me become really aware of like, the difficulties my hearing loss gives with this kind of thing. Lastly, somebody recommended the City Girls Who Walk group, and I checked that out too, and it's very much like what seems like a feminist, not in a bad way, just like, girl power, women like stick together and walk, and I don't know, like right now I'm kind of overwhelmed because the group has its own site. It's another option if you want to try it out, but yeah, it seems like it has its own site, and yeah, just a lot, like they have a lot of groups, they have their own Discord, which is very big, like the Discord's very big. So I'm a little overwhelmed, but if that's your jam, like if that sounds like your jam, like walking with girls or that sounds so weird. But yeah, chilling out with people, there you go. That's it. Also, hi.